we can figure this out later. Hi, everybody. I'm George Rising. I'm the district's distance math teacher. I am not currently using the enVision Savvas material, but I'm trying to think ahead and how I'm going to build it in for next year. I've had a few teachers contact me about, hey, where's the course that's preloaded with all the material that you need? I think having you on this call will help build that, which is really important. So what I want to do first is just welcome everybody. Hi. If you have a specific question that you want addressed, we'll try to do it as quickly as possible. But I'm going to start from the very beginning and show you as far as I've gotten and then see where we get to go. All right. So here we go. We're going to share this. So many of you may be wondering, moving my chat window out of the way, how you even get started with the online materials. Well, it starts in PowerSchool. As far as I know, it starts in PowerSchool. And if you click on this little arrow with a box, applications, and then you go to Pearson courses, this is how this enVision Savvas material is tied between PowerSchool and Canvas. So it forces you to log in first. And so I've already logged in before. So as soon as I click this Pearson course, it takes me to the Savvas page and it shows all of my courses. My courses look really scary because I've got all the semesters. It's a zoo, but a safe bet is to just look at the student roster. And you say, oh, yep, these are my students. I know them. They're enrolled in the correct course. So what you end up doing is selecting that course, and then you can add products or manage products. So why don't we just do this for real with a geometry class? There's nobody in that one. How about this one? Hey, there we go. There's my student, semester 1. So I'm going to add products. And oh boy, like chemistry, that's some good stuff right there. Here's algebra. You can add multiple things to it. So I'm just going to select algebra, algebra 2, and geometry. And say, and now they are available to that class. From this point, I really haven't messed around a lot with materials in Savvas, and I encourage you to do that before messing around with Canvas, because I think it's a little clunky on how it goes, but I'll show you what it looks like. So again, here's my geometry, this class, and I can, there's the actual material from Savvas, which should be aligned pretty well with the textbook. In theory, right? Everything should be aligned fairly well with textbook. And you can see the topics lined out and what's listed there. Of course, the real question is, how do you get these things into Canvas? And so everything's synced and tied together. So now I'm logged into Canvas. I'm going to go to that geometry course that I just selected on the Savvas bridge. And let me just make an assignment in a module. Here we go. I have a module here, basics of geometry. I'm going to go ahead and add. Now, what I've discovered is you can add just a link, like a content page, or you can actually make it a gradable assignment. So it's that question of whether you want it tied directly to PowerSchool or not. So let's try to do both. Let's make a, let's just use an external tool. And if you scroll down here again, they've got windows within windows here in Canvas. But I think you have to go all the way down to S. There we go, Savvas realized course content. And now you're getting in these embedded windows within windows, which can be a little tricky to navigate. But again, if we're trying to duplicate the resources between the real world, the students have a book, or they're trying to access it without. Here's the geometry book. So I'm going to click on that. Looks like a pretty reasonable picture, right? You know, so it looks good. And now I can select the specific thing that I want the student to do. So let's just add topic 1. Lesson 1, and then here's an interactive student lesson. and we're going to import that. And then you click import. And then you have to hit add item. You think you're done, but then you actually have to hit add item. And now you'll see it's been added here at the very bottom. And again, it's not published yet, so this is a good way to take several things and bring them in. I can click on that and it should take me right to an embedded window. When it loads. There we go. And so this is what the online material that looks like as it compares to the textbook. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Any questions so far? Ta-da. And again, for students who have never done this before, you're teaching them that there are windows within windows. If I click on next at the very bottom right, it's going to take me to the next item in the module. But if I click in this inner next button, it's actually taking me through the lesson one page at a time. And this is similar to a Florida virtual curriculum or something like that. So there's a lot of interactives built into this. So the real question that comes up is, do you want it embedded within Canvas or do you want it linked to a new window? And that's kind of where I'm at, trying to explore the material as well.
And George, if you embed it in Canvas, it will send the grade. If it's a quiz or something, it will send the grade to PowerSchool.
Yes.
Okay.
It's still linked. It's like, it's rather than bringing it up in a new tab, it's just bringing it up within this Canvas page, but it's still the exact same thing.
And so if you went, if you just did this through PowerSchool, would it grade like that too?
I believe it does, but then you don't have it in Canvas.
Right. Okay.
So, and again, I haven't really experimented with, because all of my courses are set up through Canvas, just having something standalone in PowerSchool. Okay.
George, one of my questions was earlier when I was searching through Canvas, I didn't see the enVision textbook in Canvas. I saw Holt, for math. And so is it in there? Or, how do we get into putting the enVision textbook into Canvas?
Great question. First, again, it's linking those accounts through PowerSchool because it's really, that's where your student data is getting tied. Then there's this easy bridge, which is saying, hey, these are the classes that we see in PowerSchool. Which class do you want? And what products do you want to link to it? Now, when you go to Canvas, it's going to say, okay, you can start adding resources from enVision Savvas directly into the course.
So you have to do that PowerSchool piece. You can't just go into Canvas and create the external extension.
Not that I saw beforehand.
Okay.
I think it was just the initial thing of saying, hey, we're going to talk to each other.
Okay. That I didn't know that. So this is a good video. The other thing too is in PowerSchool, maybe, would you mind going back to the other tab, George? Okay. I think there are materials in there that, just so you know, we purchased the materials that don't have Common Core attached. Politically, it's just not a good thing for us to do that since technically we're not a Common Core state. But the Common Core, you might want that Common Core for a teacher view because it does tell you the standards you're teaching. So they're there, but just know that your kids and you are not going to have the physical materials that say the Common Core version. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. They're the same. It's just one has the standards marked and the other one does not. But having standards marked, I think, is helpful for teachers to know what they're doing. So just putting it out there, that's what we purchased. But you have the electronic version of both.
And that too, if I want to go back to the geometry course and manage a product. Now it's going to give me a hard time. But the point is you should be able to go back and add those resources, the geometry Common Core and whatnot.
Yeah, Emily, I'm confused. I don't really understand the question as Savvas login because everything should be linked to your e-number and password once you get in
Okay, yeah,
PowerSchool.
I'm new to the district, so I'm not sure how all of this works. All I know is I see that he had logged into Savvas, and so I wondered, well, do we have a login for that? If it's the same as, you know, the
Yeah.
number that we have and the password
Yeah.
that we
I think
created. Okay,
your
that's
first step is to make that bridge, like George said in the very beginning, in Power Teacher, like to go into PowerSchool and do it there, link the material, and then go in. Just again, Pearson hasn't upgraded. You'll see on George's screen here, it still says Pearson. That's where you go. They haven't upgraded it to Savvas yet. So, because it used to formerly be Pearson. So don't get tricked up by that.
Okay. And yeah, there is no separate login. This is the login.
This is the login. Yeah.
So the other thing I want to show you, and again, this is as far as I've gotten, was how to add an assignment. This could, I believe, also be a test, something that you want graded. So create assignment. I'm going to put test from enVision. Okay. And then when I go here, yep, no problem, Diana, you're good to go. When I've created this assignment, so maybe this is a practice problem. So I want you to do some practice from the first section. So I could put instructions here, do a problem from each section. And again, I'm giving directions. I can put video directions here. I could record a little instructional piece on this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give it 1 point. Penny and I were talking about this before. Classwork, submission type. So this is where you go external tool. And again, you find that link and you scroll down here to Savvas. And again, I'm sorry, I've got a lot of other links and things embedded, but I'm going to go back to that first topic, the first section, and put in this kind of interactive homework assignment. I had a few students test it out and they really liked it because they could get immediate help. It was like Khan Academy where you try a problem, you get immediate feedback, and there's support resources. So here's topic 1. Here's the first lesson. And practice and problem solving. So this little symbol. There's also a quiz, but I believe you can't go back and change your results. So if we're really trying to provide practice for students, that's kind of why I went with a 1 point assignment. Okay, and I'm going to import it. You can also just, select multiple things, but I'm not sure I would recommend that until you play around with it a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to sync it to PowerSchool, but it does work. I've had a student test this out. You have to put in a due date. It will push through. I'm going to save and publish. And there you go. So now this is what a problem set, which should, I'm looking at the book, I kind of want to go through it step by step and say, does this problem set match what I'm seeing in the book? Is it close enough? So there you go. The other thing I'll put out here briefly, if it lets me, is load this in a new tab. I found that when I gave a end of unit review, it was more helpful to load it in a new tab because there was more space around the border. It's like you didn't have to shift sideways on your screen. I'm trying to imagine a student on a tablet or a phone or a Chromebook trying to see everything on one page and have to navigate everything around. So I'm going to select that little load this in a new tab and save that. Like I said, I've had a student test this for me. It did link to PowerSchool. It was auto-graded. I'm curious what happens if you make a 29 problem assignment worth 1 point. What that's going to do is it going to say, hey, you got something, or a fraction of 1. And there you go. That's 15 minutes. I'm gonna pause the recording. How about that?